Hello friends, welcome once again to my channel Bless and Crochet. Today I am going to show you how to knit this beautiful hat. And if you would like me to weave the scarf, leave me your comment at the bottom, and I will gladly be answering your request. It is a very, very simple hat. Fabric in just a few minutes. Since by the type of material and the crochet we are going to use will be super fast. In how long? I did it in only 25 minutes. So let's get started quickly. How much it weighs? For this, I will try to fold it. Weighs only 126 g. It is its weight. So if they realize, this hat is very light. And as I tell you, is a size for yes, we will see how much the different ones measure. Or rather, how many stitches we are going to start for the different sizes. And remember friends, if you would like to see the scarf, leave me your comment at the bottom. Men 52 rounds. Women 48 rounds. 14 to 16 years 44 rounds. 10 to 14 years 46 rounds. For this project I will use a number 5. Is thick. This is the type of material I am going to use. In case you do not have it close to home, don't worry friend, you can use any material you have near your home. For example, iron can be a good option. The brisa can also be made double to make a wool this thick. And this time I am going to use it with an 8 mm crochet. I am going to start as follows. I secure my first stitch. And I will weave chain stitch 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. And I'm going to leave him 12 in total. Yes, now you can make it shorter, for example your elastic if you do not need to fold it, yes. In this case I am going to fold it, then I pass a chain stitch and in this next chain stitch, I knit a slip stitch. Next chain stitch. Slip stitch. Next taking only half of the chain stitch. Look at friends. Here we only take this space, the one above us, and slide next. And slide the following chain stitch. And I slide and look at it as simple as that. I will be weaving this elastic, slip stitch, and slip stitch. Once I finish this first round, this is my last stitch. I make a chain stitch. And at this last stitch, I will take only half of the chain stitch. Yes, this part of here. I make a slip stitch. I move on to the next one, to the next chain stitch. Look, we have these two spaces in the chain stitch. I take only half as long. And I slide the remaining half of the front end. Next slip stitch. Slip stitch. Next. Slip stitch and so on. I will continue to weave, taking only half of the chain stitch. Yes. Look on this side what it looks like and on this side. Yes. You can see the chain stitch. Slip. Slip. And look. Finally, here is our last stitch. Not to be lost. Let's take it and slide it too. We must have 11 chain stitch left in total. I make a chain stitch. This was my last stitch. This is how it happened. And I repeat the same process again. Slip stitch taking half. Slip stitch. Slip stitch. And so. I will continue to weave. One slip stitch for each space. Until the end of those 11 stitches. I need. This is the last stitch. A chain stitch passes me to the last stitch. Taking only half of the chain stitch. Look friends, here we have these two left. Well, I take half. I turn and do the next slip stitch. Next slip stitch. Slip stitch and so on. It's as simple as that. Let's make the elastic now. I'll show you how it looks. I have already had an advantage here. The elastic, look at. This is how this elastic looks on us. I love this slip stitch elastic. Because it does not deform and returns to its place. How could you notice? Look. And appears to be woven into two holes. But it is all crocheted now. A chain stitch happened to me. To the last stitch and taking only half of the chain stitch. I slip stitch one for each space. Slip stitch. Slip stitch. Look at taking only half of the chain stitch. This elastic had already been shown to you friends. I will see if I can leave the link below, in the description, to go and see how to weave it in more detail with a chain stitch. In this last stitch I do slip stitch and so on. I continue half of the chain stitch, I slide, I slide, I slide. Slip. And I slide. Like this and look. Every lap this lap look how it will look like. This is our first round, you can see it here. This one that is seen in relief is lap number 2. This one that is seen at the bottom is a 3, 4, 5, 6, and so we are going to be weaving. Look now. I already have here, as I was telling you, the elastic I will need. Let's see how many the turns I have left behind. Look. 2, 1, this counts as 1, 2, the one in yellow, 3, relief, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44. 46, 48, 50, and 52. We will now continue with the process. I'm going to start by making a chain stitch. And at this first stitch in this first space. Here. You half double crochet. Sew in a single time. I am going to move on to this stitch, which is the relief stitch. And here. Halfway. I leave a slip stitch. So. Now I pass here in the middle. Where you can see the space between one relief and another. and in it half double crochet. So here is where the relief is. Pass the crochet and slip stitch where I have the space between the reliefs. I will try to bring it closer. See if it can be better appreciated. In this space I take here. To see. They're ready. And you. Half double crochet in the relief that is this. Slip stitch again. Half double crochet. In relief space. Slip stitch. Here again. Half double crochet. This chain stitch was very closed. Slip stitch. Half double crochet. Slip stitch on relief. And so I will continue to weave all the way around. About this half stitch space. In the chain stitch, I slide half double crochet. On the relief space, I slide again. Slip stitch and on the space I slide. Half double crochet. Half double crochet slide. Slip. Medium and slippery. I am about to finish here. And this is the last slip stitch. And so far I have 54 stitches. How we can count them like this. Look where the chain stitch are marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so yes, good. I want to show you that I am about to finish my return. I am going to make the half double crochet here. And we must always finish with every lap. Con unslip stitch. Here it is now, this is my last stitch, I make a chain stitch. And I take a loop, yes. And at this stitch, which is my slip stitch, I pass it from side to side. Look. They do reach to see good. Here I pass it from side to side and leave half double crochet. I am going to move on to the next space. And make slip stitch next space. Half double crochet next. Slip stitch. Next half double crochet. Next look here you can see the stitch. Slip stitch. Next half double crochet. In a single time. Next slip stitch, next half double crochet. Slip stitch. Half double crochet. And I will continue like this until the end of my whole tour. Next half double crochet slide. Next half double crochet slide. And look, we are not going to drink. It is these little ties that remain here that we will respect them. We will only take the stitch, yes, the stitch, nothing more, and I slide. I will complete the whole round. I show you here I am about to finish my return. You in every turn will be the same process. To finish half double crochet, I move on to this last stitch. Look here you can see my complete chain stitch. Here. Yes, and I make a slip stitch. On this occasion, I'm going to do the slip stitch, putting the crochet in here, but I'm about to change the color. Let's see, here I have the tip. And I do the following step. And I do the slip stitch, yes. Now, here where I made my slip stitch with the double wool, I'm going to make a chain stitch just to make sure my stitch. And I take a loop in this space where I made my slip stitch. There I am going to make him half double crochet in a single time. And at the following stitch, at the same time I lose this little piece of wool. From the beginning I slide. Next stitch is this half stitch you sew in a single time. The one who follows slip. Half double crochet. And in the one that continues to slide, it is the same process. Half double crochet. Next stitch, look, I only take half of the Sorry for the full stitch, but I do not take this loop. This figurine I do not take. Only this space, if then I do. Half double crochet. Half double crochet sliding. And on this occasion, I can now withdraw the tone. This shade in gray later I will lose. This little piece of material. But therefore I am going to keep this white color. Yes, next slide. Next stitch. Half double crochet, next slide. Half double crochet, slide, half double crochet to the end. Already at the end of the return. Teju, look here, I still have these 2 stitch left. 1 and 2, then I knit half double crochet. And always remember to end with slip stitch. A chain stitch to see, I will repeat because it was lost twist. And on this first stitch, this one I have here. Start knitting. Half double crochet, next stitch. Slip stitch. Remember not to take this little bond that we have here, this one no. And so I half slip. Medium. Slip. Medium. And good slide. I'm going to go a little ahead and come back. We already know that every turn is composed of the same process. I am going back to continue with the closure. And we can make color changes as many times as we need it. I want to show you, friends, and what I have been ahead of me so far, look at. I hear 6 turns and then 2, 2, 2, and 2. How much? What it measures already long. Remember that I am going to fold in this part. Then, I will only have the elastic in the middle. For this, measures 18-19 centimeters. We are now going to make the closure. To make the closing, we will do the following. I upload a chain stitch. I move on to this first space. And shuffle half double crochet. At this stitch that follows, I will pass it without knitting. And even the next one I make the slip stitch. I pass a stitch without knitting and in which half double crochet follows. Step stitch without knitting and in which slip stitch follows. I pass stitches without knitting and in which half double crochet follows. Step stitch without knitting and in which slip stitch follows. Step stitch without knitting, next half double crochet. Step stitch without knitting and in which slip stitch follows. Step stitch without knitting in which half double crochet follows. Step stitch without knitting and in which slip stitch follows. And look how it is closing. So I will continue step stitch. I leave half a stitch, slip stitch, step. Half a step. Slip stitch, passo. Half stitch, slip stitch. Step, half stitch, step, slip stitch. Step, half stitch, step, slip stitch. Step. Half stitch, slip stitch. Step, half stitch, step, slip stitch. Step, half stitch, step, slip stitch, step. And here I knit half double crochet and at the end my slip stitch. Yes, even here I make a chain stitch. If you look at these last two stitches, I did not pass. Turn and I will repeat first stitch. Half stitch, next step, slip stitch. Next step, half double crochet. Step and where it follows slip stitch, step. Half a step. Slip stitch, passo. Half double crochet. Step, slip stitch, step, half stitch. Passo, slip stitch. Step, half double crochet. Passo, slip stitch, passo. Half a step. And here I pass these two to finish like this. Look at the lifting. And I slide at the end, yes. To close and look, we have very few left stitches. And lifting. I repeat half a step again. Slip stitch. Step. Half double crochet. Step. And in which slip stitch follows. Next step, half double crochet. Step and in which I continue to slide. Step. Half double crochet and at the end. Without slip stitch, yes. And look. Almost closed now. Let's leave a little bit of material. Because with this same, I am going to make the closure. I end up like this. And we are going to place our friendship. I already have the recording. And I will pass. I will see if it can be better appreciated. From bottom to top. Down at every stitch, look, let's go taking. Every stitch downward. Upwards. Downward, upward, upward. I pull all the stitches to close. And well. Now we are going to close. In this part, to see if it can be seen better. From side to side. And I am closing. From side to side. I close. From side to side. And close. Here for the bottom. With these same little pieces of wool that have remained are the ones I am going to close. Not to be seen. In this case, the seam. I show you how the final result turned out of this beautiful hat. What do you think? With this I say goodbye. As usual, I really hope you liked it. If you liked it, support me by sharing on your social networks, with your relatives, with your friends, in your Facebook groups. And remember, if you would like to knit the scarf, leave me your comment at the bottom.